Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ video here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRiftNoDQ. I got your questions today from twitter.com/AaronRift using the hashtag NoDQturns20. And we are just coming off the greatest Royal Rumble of all time, allegedly. Got plenty of things to talk about. Another pay-per-view coming up in just a week. WWE Backlash. So let's get started with your questions. First one today comes from Garrett Mills. Since the pay-per-views are for both brands now, is the Money in the Bank pay-per-view going to have 4 Money in the Bank matches? One for the SmackDown women and one for the Raw women, one for the Raw men and one for the SmackDown men. I mentioned Greatest Royal Rumble and Backlash, and people are asking me questions about Money in the Bank. What does that say about the recent pay-per-views? It is what it is. But regarding Money in the Bank, I'm looking forward to Money in the Bank. I will be there in Chicago. NoDQ.com, of course, will have a special meetup to celebrate 20 years of NoDQ.com. Oh, wait, you have a question. I have to answer your question. So I think there will be 2. I think there will be 1 women's and 1 men's. Each match will be split. There will be 4 participants from Raw, 4 participants from SmackDown, 8 total in each match. That's what I suspect will happen. Anything more is overkill. The only way I would be fine with another Money in the Bank match, I guess I would be fine either way. If WWE did do 3 or 4 in one night, I would just complain like everybody else and deal with it. But it would be annoying. I think if WWE did 2 Money in the Bank matches at the pay-per-view and then next year's WrestleMania, which I've been saying now for years, bring back Money in the Bank. That way you have the gimmick spread out throughout the year and you have 3 potential Money in the Bank holders, one of them being at WrestleMania, the other 2 being later in the year at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I like that concept, having Money in the Bank at WrestleMania again. It's a nice multi-man match, a way to get everybody on the card by doing a 6 or even 8-person match. Some would say, well, is it going to be a men's match or a women's match? I say whichever group needs it. If you need more women on the card, make it a women's match. If you need more men, make it a men's match. Whatever. Next question here from SCW Wrestling Channel. Hey Aaron, with seeing the new rosters take shape this week after the Superstar Shakeup, who do you see becoming the breakout stars for 2018 on Raw and SmackDown Live? Let's start with SmackDown. I think the guy with the most potential to break out, I think that there are 2. One of them is still on SmackDown, even though he was previously on SmackDown, and that's Shinsuke Nakamura. I think now that he's a heel, he has some new life in WWE, and I could potentially see him winning the WWE Championship from AJ Styles. Will it happen at Backlash? That remains to be seen. But I could see that happening. I could see Nakamura being one of the top heels on SmackDown. The other guy will be fighting him for that top spot, I believe, and that is Samoa Joe coming from Raw. So of everybody that went from Raw to SmackDown, specifically, I think Joe has the most potential to go far. The Miz too. The Miz did great on SmackDown. He moved to Raw and he still did well, but I think Miz just feels right on SmackDown. I think Miz and Joe will have the best runs of 2018. The top 3 heels, Nakamura, Joe, and Miz, I feel will be dominant in 2018. Who knows? Maybe they'll even form a super main event heel faction. Never say never, right? As far as Raw goes, that I feel is more up for debate. Raw is very crowded with talent, and I feel some guys will eventually get lost in the shuffle. The guys that I feel have the best chance to break out, for one, Drew McIntyre, unless the Dolph Ziggler pairing holds him back. I think McIntyre could potentially have that top level run that people thought he was going to have in 2010. Now that he's back, he's looking better than ever physically. His promo was really good on Raw the other week. I feel like McIntyre has a lot of an upside right now. Looking at some of the other guys on Raw, depending on how things work out with him, I think there's still a big question mark with him, but Lashley could potentially have a breakout return to WWE. Time will tell if he can live up to expectations. I know some people are very critical of him, but I feel he's got a shot. He's been away for a while. He's a fresh face again. He has the look. We'll see if he can succeed in WWE and have a better run than his first one. And looking at some of the other guys, it's still very much up in the air in terms of guys that are going to break out of the pack. But this actually is a good lead-in to the next question I have regarding Money in the Bank. So we're back to Money in the Bank from Dr. Mac, a.k.a. Jamie Lee Mack, former Wrestling Trivia Challenge contestant. Who is your early prediction to win Money in the Bank? And do you think they'll do 2 briefcases like in the previous brand split? I hope they don't. One is enough, and it makes it much more unpredictable. Well, like I said in that first question, I think we will have a women's Money in the Bank match with Raw and SmackDown competitors and a men's match with Raw and SmackDown competitors. So for the women's match, if I had to make a prediction, I would say I lean towards heels winning Money in the Bank because I feel like it makes more sense for a heel to take advantage. But in this case, I could see somebody like Ember Moon perhaps winning the women's Money in the Bank match. Maybe she'll go heel at some point. Maybe she won't. Maybe she will announce in advance when she wants her title opportunity. I could see Ember Moon winning it. Maybe Becky Lynch, finally. Becky Lynch can finally get the push that she hasn't been getting, even though I'm not sure how she would work as a heel, but maybe she would do very well as a heel. Who knows? Either way, same thing. She could win it, maybe turn heel, maybe not, maybe announce in advance when she wants her title match. But Ember Moon or Becky Lynch would be my top 2 picks. I keep saying Becky all the time and she never wins, so I feel like she's due for a win now. As far as Raw goes, right now I'm leaning towards 2 guys. I mean, it could be Samoa Joe on the SmackDown side, but I think I would go with either Elias or Bobby Roode. Turn Roode heel. Have him maybe win it as a babyface, but have him turn heel. And that would be the way you get him as a heel in WWE, by having him be an opportunist like Edge. Roode, I think, would be a great candidate to win it. And Elias seems to be having a breakout year in 2018. A lot of people feel this guy can be a top-tier star in WWE. His gimmick is hot. I could see him potentially winning it. So him, Roode, or Joe as far as the male contenders go right now. But I still feel it's too early. Things could definitely change a month from now. You never know who might go up the ladder, who might go down the ladder. And I'm talking about the figurative ladder, not the literal ladder. Got this one here from Alfredo. Hey Aaron, I know you're sick and tired of watching Triple H in the ring, but don't you think it would be good for Bob Roode, I like how you said Bob Roode, to have a feud with Triple H that ends in SummerSlam and then turn him heel with the momentum? See, I think a lot of people like this idea of Roode versus Triple H because they look alike. I've never been a fan of doing a match just because 2 guys look alike. If anything, I like them better as a team. That's why I've been saying Cesaro and Aiden English should form a team since they look alike. But not really them facing each other. I'm not as much of a fan of that. And plus, I hate to say this, but I think Roode versus Triple H would be a boring match. I could just picture it in my mind, lots of rest holds and very slow paced, and I think for me personally, I would be bored with it. Maybe some people out there would jump for joy to see that match, but yeah, it doesn't sound that exciting to me. I do want to see Roode go heel, but I don't think Triple H needs to be that guy. I like the idea of Roode winning Money in the Bank a whole lot more. So I think there's better ways to get to Roode being a heel than having him fight Triple H. Triple H is not the answer. Triple H, as far as I'm concerned, can go away until next year's WrestleMania. I hate to say that because I love the guy, but yeah, he needs to be away, and WWE needs to focus on the current guys and not rely on the past guys so much. Got this one here from Alex Suggs. Given the personal hatred going on in the feud, do you think AJ Styles and Nakamura, their next match, do you think it needs to be a no DQ? Well, I am the no DQ guy, so naturally I would say yes. I do think it needs to be taken to the next level now. After the disappointing double countout at the Greatest Royal Rumble, I think the next step is to do a no-holds-barred match. Do a match where there's no DQ, low blows are legal. Maybe finally AJ Styles can wear that damn cup and Nakamura goes for his low blow and it backfires because AJ finally, after all this time, finally smartens up. So yeah, no-holds-barred match seems to be the way to go. Street fight, whatever you want to call it. Maybe they'll have another screwy finish at Backlash, and maybe they'll do one more match at Money in the Bank. Chicago street fight. How about that? There's an idea. Got this one here from James V. Oh my god, he screams. What do you think of Shinsuke's new music with the Japanese lyrics? It's freaking awesome. I love it. I agree. I think it's a very nice remix / upgrade for Nakamura. I think it's appropriate for his character now that he's a heel, preventing the fans from singing along, but it still has its cool factor without people being able to sing along. Unless some really crazy fans out there somehow find the lyrics to the song or just memorize the singing and the notes even without knowing the words, and they still perform the song when he comes out. But the rap song is a lot more difficult to pull off. I like it a lot. I think it really adds to Nakamura's entrance. It really feels like a main event star when he comes out there. It kind of has like a new metal vibe to it, which I like too. Going back to 2000 era. I like it. I think it's a cool theme for him. I think it definitely fits the bill, fits the mold for a wrestling theme song, in my opinion. Got this one here from Infinity Gauntlet, the anime fans. Since the women cannot be in the Greatest Royal Rumble, do you believe they should have ran some women house shows to test the water to see if fans want a future all-women event? Well, WWE already did the Mae Young Classic, which was an all-female tournament. I guess you could see it as WWE expanding the women's division, just like the Cruiserweight division is its own entity, and WWE could test the waters with it. You could do that. I've seen some people argue both ways. Some people feel WWE should not do an all-women's event, feeling that it segregates the men and the women, and they should just be doing shows together. I've seen a lot of different opinions, and people argue about it. I say just keep blending them in, keep focusing on the women like WWE has been. Next year, maybe do Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte as the closing match for WrestleMania. If the build is right, if the character stays strong, I say go for it. But go with what is working with the audience, what's connecting with the audience. Don't go either way for political reasons. Just focus on coming up with the best storylines and the best matches possible, and whatever's the most compelling match, whether it's men or women, black or white, whatever, you go with what has the best story and the most intriguing characters, and you put that in the main event spot. Let it be organic. Don't force it on people. Ronda Rousey has the star power. If she stays hot, I feel next year's WrestleMania, that should be the main event. But does WWE need to really do all-women house shows? I mean, that is definitely a debatable question. I know people are very opinionated on it, so go ahead, leave a comment in the YouTube comments or on NoDQ.com. There's also a comments section for the NoDQ video post that you can check out. And just in general, Leave some comments on NoDQ.com. Every post at the bottom has a discuss comments section where you can leave feedback, comments, whatever. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Got this one here from Baller with Shades. I think it's with, it's just a W. Do you think WWE missed out on something great and historic by not having an undefeated Asuka win the title? She beat every undefeated record ever just to have the WrestleMania loss tainted. I think it was too soon. I was very shocked, of course, when Charlotte won at WrestleMania. I was not expecting that. I think WWE could have gotten more mileage out of Asuka's undefeated streak. The question is now, where does WWE go with her? Like Goldberg, the streak was really her momentum. That's what she had going for her, and now that's gone. Now she doesn't have it. So what do you do with her? Eventually, she was going to have to lose. But yeah, just like Goldberg, I think WWE could have gone further with her and could have stretched out the streak a bit longer. Maybe have her win the world title. Maybe do a match with her and Ronda Rousey. Not necessarily at WrestleMania. They could have done it at SummerSlam, for instance. Maybe had Rousey beat her. Although I think, see, my opinion, and it's still the same, I think somebody else could have benefited from beating Asuka. You can make somebody's career by defeating Asuka. I don't think Charlotte needed it. I don't think Ronda Rousey needed it. I think you could have built up a new star to potentially beat Asuka and end her streak, and that person becomes made. That puts their name in the record books forever. It never goes away. You have a made star, the person that ended Asuka's dominant winning streak. Just like Goldberg. WCW dropped the ball with Kevin Nash beating Goldberg. That was a mistake. I think we all recognize that. Somebody could have gotten the rub from beating Goldberg. Nash was an established star. He did not need it. Same thing with Charlotte. She did not need it. She's already Charlotte Flair, one of the greatest female superstars in WWE history, and her career still, most likely, unless she gets seriously hurt, has a long way to go. Got this one here from They See Me Rollins. Does WWE think that doing lame comedy, attacking heels with cheesy forced dialogue, and smiling all the time makes a great babyface? I think Vince McMahon specifically feels that way. You know, even though Steve Austin was this anti-Hulk Hogan, this anti-babyface, for the most part in WWE history, the prototype for a main event star is everything you just subscribed. Wow. Botch. You look at Hulk Hogan, The Ultimate Warrior, John Cena, even Shawn Michaels during '96. These were all clean-cut, superhero good guys that never cheat. Well, Hogan would cheat, but usually it was getting payback on guys that were cheating in the first place. But for the most part, these guys are squeaky clean. They smile all the time. They're not evil in any sense. You know, whenever they do break the rules, it's just payback because somebody else did it to them first. What goes around comes around. That's the old saying. So yeah, I think it's Vince's vision of what a main event star is, a marketable, top-level guy that can sell action figures and do personal appearances, go on talk shows, and that sort of thing. Steve Austin, The Rock, there were a few guys that broke that mold and became top stars without being the happy-go-lucky, smiling babyface. Originally, that's what WWE wanted out of The Rock, but he ditched that Rocky Maivia persona quickly and eventually became The Rock and became one of the biggest stars in wrestling. WWE has been trying to do it with Reigns. Hasn't worked. Strowman, so far there has not been a backlash. The fans have not turned against Strowman. Time will tell, though, if there is a shift at some point, if Strowman becomes the world champion. That'll be very interesting to watch, but it hasn't happened yet. Strowman tag teamed with a kid, and the fans did not turn against him. So there you go. Got this one here from Aaron Lewis. Hey Aaron, do you think WWE should downsize on giving the same titles to the same guys in order to give newer or less likely talents a chance at holding the championship. I'd rather see a guy have an amazing run with a title than several brief runs. Thanks. Well, the way I see it is only the elite of the elite should be holding titles in the first place. It should not be going around like a hot potato where one guy wins it and then another guy wins it and then another guy wins it, or two people trade it back and forth. Every once in a while, I'm okay with that hot potato thing because it just shows that they're evenly matched and it's a very intense battle for the title. But for the most part, I think you should stick to your select top guys having the titles and having decent runs, because when you change the titles all the time, people tend to forget. It becomes harder to keep track of, and I feel the title reigns just lose their value when you have too many champions and too many people holding the title. So yeah, you definitely want a balance. You definitely want longer reigns and fewer champions, I think, to have the most effectiveness. That'll do it for this edition of NoDQ video. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding WWE Backlash. Yes, another WWE pay-per-view coming up. And please spread the word about this video. If you enjoyed it, share it on social media, tell a friend. Word of mouth really goes a long way. That's a great way you can support the website and the channel. Just spread the word. Word of mouth. Very much appreciated from you guys. And I will see you all next time.